we're in a crown molding project. I decided to make a little video about this one and teach as much as I can teach about it, which is sometimes a little hard because it demands practice, but there are some principles that you need to understand. Crown molding is the molding that goes against the wall and the ceiling at the same time. It's called the crown molding. Crown molding, to make it look fairly nice, you have to follow some sort of techniques that through the time, some people have been perfectioning with different tools, and there are different methods of actually doing it. I'm going to teach you one of them, which is with straight cuts. Some people will do something that is called cupping, which are cuts that then are followed with a contouring saw, which is called a cupping saw. I'm not going to do that one. You can do that one as well. It's not a problem. Sometimes it's used when you have some natural finish, or in other words, you don't want to paint your moldings, your crown moldings. Now, here's some basics. The first one is that no matter what type of crown molding you're going to put, you have to determine what is the height of the crown molding against the ceiling. And I'm going to tell you why. If you notice, if I press the molding, this is the bottom part. If I press the molding, it's going to determine what is the height. So, you can do either two things. You can actually get out, like in this case, you can make a little line in the bottom. So you make a little line. I'm going to paint this wall, so don't worry about it. So you put this molding over here, all right? Then you put square right on top of it. Then you mark another line. Now, that line is the line that is going to be from the ceiling to the bottom. And if I'm not mistaken, right now we have 2 inches and 3/16 of an inch. So, first thing that you gotta do is go around the perimeter of your walls, the ones that you want to do, the rooms or whatever, and start marking 2 inches and 3/16, 2 and 3/16 little lines through the perimeter that you want to mark. Now that will give you the idea that you need to go always maintain yourself around that height. And sometimes what happens is that when people don't do that, they start working and then they start twisting it when they get to the corners and stuff, and they start having frustration because the moldings are not kind of lining up or whatever, they're twisted or whatever. There are some times that you have long sections like what happens here. So always, now you know that you can mark around, and that is your first basic thing. The other thing is that you have to remember that although there are plenty of machines to cut, and I have some good, modern tools, there are some stuff that you need to remember. When you're cutting this thing, always turn it around. So if you know that you're gonna have a little angle over here, just turn it around. When you cut it, you're gonna cut it this way, always thinking that this one is gonna be exposed. It's in a 45-degree angle in a 90-degree corner, right? When you have other corners like this one, 45, you need to cut in 22 and a half. Why? Because the two joints, 22 and 22 will make, 22 and a half and 22 and a half will make 45. And I'll take you in a moment to the machine. So those are the principles that you need to maintain always. This crown molding will never go like that. It will look ugly, nasty. It always has to, go like that. Always determined. Yeah, I found some people that actually put it like that, but that's kind of sloppy. It looks really bad. It's hard to work with. Anyway, this one is meant to go that way. You can actually check sometimes when you buy at the store how high is this thing. You can see the little specifications that are there, a little schematic, and tell you how high it is, so you keep remember the measurement and take it back home. So I'm going to show you in a moment how you can cut. So here we have an inner corner, and we have a long piece of crown molding that went all the way to the corner over there. So it's like about 14 feet. I got the 16 feet long pieces, and it saves you a lot of cuts. So when you get over here, I wanna show you. See the little lines that are over there? Those lines are the ones marked at 2 and 3/16. If you notice, we're gonna just tie it up a little bit more with a little shim over here. But that's where it goes. Not all the corners are going to be fine because remember there is plaster and drywall compound and all the stuff. But that's pretty much what happens. So as you go along, you're gonna find other pieces and that I mean, you know, that are really long. And I recommend you always to kind of fasten it up, but not all the way to the corners, because sometimes the corners are a little tricky to work with. So you want to have them, if you notice, you know, like I already put some caulking over there, but I didn't finish it up all the way to the corner, so I can just kind of play around a little bit with the mold and bring it up and down until I get that angle that you know, close that gap as much as possible, so you don't have this big, you know, caulking lines or whatever. So that's pretty much the principle of how you do it. Okay. Here is the miter saw. This is the compound saw. This machine is, I mean, it's pretty I will say advanced, you know, pretty modern. Meaning that it has so many angles. I mean, it's electronic. You can actually check at the angle over there, lighting, lasers, whatever. But I'm not gonna go through that stuff. I'm gonna go to what we're doing right now. So, what happens is that once you know that, let's say you have 2 inches and 3/16 of an inch, you know, 2 and 3/16 of an inch. You take it back to upside down. You take it back to your miter saw, whatever, small, big, whatever, and then you just, you know, mark and place it, you know, trace a little line, and you know that always, whenever you're gonna cut this molding upside down, always you're gonna have that line. You're gonna be respecting the line, not too close, not too high, because that will change the angle that you're gonna put on the ceiling. If you don't have that line over there, you don't cut in the line, forget it. I mean, you're gonna be twisting this molding left and right, and you'll be frustrated. So when you're gonna cut it, again, if you don't have like truly square, or you have like angle walls or whatever, you either have, you know, a 31.5 or 22.5, meaning that they're, you know, like half angles and all these things. So I made some little cuts to tell you, to show you how this works. If you have an outer corner, you know, what you gotta do, if you notice, you have a nice 45-degree angle, they're always gonna meet together this way on the ceiling. So it's gonna be like a hollow little section.